We'll start today with Rob Dorsett. This whole first section is embargoed until it's finished, so it's in line. Rob, take it away.
Hi, Brendan. Good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, good, Rob. Thank you.
Good, man. I need to ask you about a couple of club legends. Well, three of them really that are going to be leaving. Let's start with Wes. Really, I think he probably needs special mention because he's actually retiring from football. What do you say about the football career of Wes Morgan?
Well, to have played over 750 games, to not have played top flight football till he was 30 years of age, to have won 3 trophies, iconic status here, and also playing about 400 games for, I think, Nottingham Forest as well. So, but for here, as he'll always be a legend of this club, being the captain to pick up the title and an amazing story, and a remarkable career. And sadly it comes to an end. But an amazing guy. I've got to say, he was in the time I've been here, it was important for me to keep him here, because I felt that he might not play as much as what he's done throughout his career, but certainly was going to be a very important figure for the changing room and for the mentality of the club, and he's been everything and more. So it's a sad day when someone has been playing football since they've been 6-7 years of age, and they call it a day now at 37. But he'll always retain an association with the club and going forward. And an amazing guy and a brilliant player.
Christian Fuchs and Matty James, I think, are continuing with their careers. Certainly Matty James is. I think Christian plans to as well. Nonetheless, they've been invaluable servants as well, haven't they?
Yeah, both guys. Christian, if you think he came to Leicester City as a free transfer from Schalke, played a huge role in the title-winning season, and very much similar to Wes. He had an important role for me. These guys are very much about what this club is about, and Christian, I've got to say, whether he's played or not, an incredible professional, very focused, the type of guy that I wanted around to install the right energy and right attitude in a lot of our younger players. Never has an easy day in training, and just a really, really good person. So he's got more games in his legs. But obviously, sadly, it'll be his last day training tomorrow. Matty, I'm so pleased for Matty, because when I came in, it was obviously difficult for him in terms of injuries. A player that played a huge part in what is known here as the Great Escape. That team that stayed in the division and allowed the club to continue to build. But Matty sees the game from the very highest level. His education at Manchester United as a young player has seen him go on and have an outstanding career. Just been unfortunate in my time here, especially early on, where he had those niggly injuries. But I'm so happy for him that he was able to go out this season. He's played about nearly 40 games in the Championship over the course of the last season, and I will miss him like the others, because he such an honest guy, a good guy, funny guy, and a very, very talented player.
Good man. Brendan, whatever happens in this final day, this has been an incredibly successful season for Leicester, hasn't it? A historical season. First time the club's ever won the FA Cup. You're guaranteed European football of some ilk, whatever happens. I wonder whether that takes the pressure off the players a little bit going into this final game, or do you not see it like that?
No, I think that this week has been really about perspective. And that's something that, I look back over the course of the season, everything that we've had to deal with, the European campaign, the injury list that we've had to real key important players for us, how we've been able to adapt and change the team around to be competitive at the very top. And as we sit here, as you say, our concentration is winning the game at the weekend against a talented Tottenham team. And if we arrive on 69 points at the end of the season and somehow don't make it to the Champions League, then it has been really, really misfortunate. So our focus is on finish the season strong. As you said, players have had an outstanding season. Staff, everyone had to work so hard in this pandemic. Games, the scheduling of the games, obviously very tough for us, but we've managed to be competitive, and in the last game of the season, we're fighting with two of Europe's biggest clubs to be in the Champions League. So yeah, European football again next season, which is a target. FA Cup for the first time in the history of the football club. And when I asked myself the question, have we improved? Then we most certainly have. And let's hope we can finish the season off with a win at the weekend.
Having said all of that, which is all absolutely correct, Leicester have been in the top 4 now for 242 days, more than any other club. And you've dropped out just ahead of the final game. How galling would it be for you and the players? And I wonder, because it's such a young squad, whether it might damage the confidence of that young squad if for a second consecutive season you were to come so close and not quite make it at the end.
No, listen, there's no doubt it would be disappointing. We can't mask over that as equal. The high of winning the FA Cup was we were, elated to bring that trophy to the football club. Of course, we'd be really, really disappointed if we didn't do it. But we've got no one to blame. We always take the responsibility ourselves. We've fought and we will fight right to the very end. And like I said, it's if it doesn't happen for us, then we'll all come back in the summer and we'll be even more motivated and have an even greater incentive to push on. And that's what development is. We've designed something here to try and sustain, performance. And like I said, if it doesn't quite happen this year, we'll be back in the summer, even more motivated to push on next season.
How do you see it, these final few games? Chelsea have got a tricky trip to Villa. Liverpool at home against Palace. Are Leicester third favourites, though, irrespective of all of that?
We can only control what we do. The Chelsea squads, Liverpool squads, very talented players, experienced players, but we can't control that, Rob. So I won't lose any sleep over the two teams. We can only control what we can, and that will be our focus for Sunday. Let's get 3 points. Let's finish off on 69 points, and let's see where it takes us.
Will you have somebody monitoring what's happening in the other games?
Well, I think that's natural. I think, of course, last game of the season, we'll have an indication of what's happening elsewhere.
I'm going to take you back to 2014, and I don't know whether this is a fair comparison or what, but it was one where you suffered yourself in charge of Liverpool, 2 games to go, and chasing Manchester City's +9 goal difference, and it was all going so well. You were 3-0 up, and it finished 3-3, and the challenge was over almost. But I guess it shows. The reason I'm bringing it up is that you've experienced it from that side. How teams with big goal differences, how strange things can happen in the final couple of games of the season. Goal differences can swing, results can go one way that you're not expecting, there can be pressure. So it's all still very open in that regard, isn't it?
Yeah, well, as I said, it doesn't finish until the final whistle. But it's over the course of the season, Rob. We all teams throughout the season, we've all played bad games in the season and lost points. But after 38 games, you'll finish where you deserve to finish. It's as simple as that, So, but yeah, back then, like you say, it was we were in a good position, good place, but very quickly it can change. But you can only control yourselves, and that will be our focus going into Sunday. It will be a tough game for us. Tottenham are pushing as well for a win, but thankfully we'll have some supporters in there. We've missed our supporters, and I'm sure they'll really help and push the team forward and play to the intensity that we would want.
Last one, can I ask you about the team news? You suggested that Johnny Evans was almost certain to miss out. Is that right?
Yeah, Johnny will miss out, yeah.
Anybody else struggling?
No, I think everyone else that was available the other night would be available for this game.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you.
Okay, Jonathan from BLP.
Yeah, hi, Brendan. Afternoon. Something you
Hi.
said a moment ago, have we improved? We most certainly have, you said. I just wonder, in what is essentially a results business, how much you see that as success of both yourself as a coach and Leicester as a squad, the fact that so many appear to have improved under your coaching?
Well, I think that's ultimately what we're here to do, Jonathan. I've been in coaching. My commitment to football and my football life has always been about development, and whether that's a young player or whether it's a senior player. For me, there's always development can take place no matter the age. So we've been in here working 2.5 years, and from day one that has been the intention. We wanted to design a program that would allow the performance of the team to be consistent, to produce a team that is exciting to watch, that has an attacking based philosophy, and that fights for their supporters. So yeah, that's what we do as a team. That's how I've always managed with every team that we've gone into with my staff. How we improve players and help develop players, and we see obviously signs of that, but still a lot of development to take place here.
Can I ask you one more on Wes Morgan? Looking on from afar as you were in 2015, 2016, what was it about that stable back four that Wes led, which made that group, that unit, so dependable that season?
Yeah, I think that the strength of Leicester was the team, from the very top to Kasper and goal. Yeah, obviously they played in a way that everything was closed up and breaking on the counter-attack. But you had an outstanding goalkeeper in Kasper who makes big saves in big moments of games. And then you get a back four of experience with Fuchs and Danny at full-back, that were very strong and aggressive. And then you get two centre-halves that are aggressive, can head it. Big Houthi was, I worked with Robert at Chelsea, so I knew his talent and how aggressive and strong he is. And him and Wes would have been a really formidable partnership. So then in front of that, the work rate of Kante, the quality of Drinkwater, Mahrez on the sides, along with Mark. Mahrez has shown the world-class player like Kante. And then you get Vards and Shinji up front just running and working. So it was a fantastic team.
And just finally from me, nothing's predictable, of course, and we can't assume anything on Sunday. But do you believe, Brendan, there will be a twist somewhere over the 90 minutes?
Yeah, I don't think it's over yet. That's, I have that optimism and that belief that, if we can do our job, then we can do no more than that. And then it's, as I said, it'll be interesting to just see how it finishes up. But what we wouldn't want is for the door to have opened for us and us not to be able to walk through it. So for us, let's get the 3 points. Let's focus on our performance, playing well, finish off the season, and with a good victory. And let's see where it takes us.
Okay, Jason Bourne.
Hi, Brendan. Hope you're well. There's not going to be a simple answer, of course, to this one, but just how do you go about replacing those characters and the leadership qualities that Wes Morgan and Christian Fuchs have offered the club over the last few years?
Well, yeah, that's something that we've looked at. As you say, all three players that are leaving, in particular the two boys that have been with us on the journey since I've been here. Wes is this colossal captain. So his presence, of course, will be missed. But he, like I said, he'll always have the association with the club, and he's been part of and help with the success that we've had over these last couple of years. And Fuchs, like I said, he's the ultimate professional. Yeah, an amazing guy who his story coming in, former captain of Austria, the club done fantastic, to bring him in on a free transfer to come in and play to a level that he has. But also I think he's shown how he's communicated with supporters, that engagement he's had with them. Such a likable guy, and these are guys that now become friends. Leicester City once they leave. So the door will always be open for them to come back.
Obviously, Kasper Schmeichel's worn the captain's armband in Wes Morgan's absence throughout the course of this season, last season, and beyond that as well. Do you expect him to be the new club captain from next season?
Well, it's something we'll look at. We'll close this season out. We'll go away and recover, and then we'll come back over the course of the summer. There's no doubt he's an inspirational leader, and for me, the captains have to be selfless. They have to look after the squad. They have to look after the team as well as themselves. So, and when Kasper's been on the field, he's done that, and he's a wonderful ambassador for the club. So, but yeah, we've some decisions to make over the course of the summer for the captain and a vice captain, if that's the case, and then we'll move forward.
We've been hearing from Kasper ahead of this game saying that when you succeed in something like the FA Cup winner trophy, there's always that hunger for even more. Do you feel that hunger in yourself, Brendan, and also the rest of the squad?
Yeah, I've always had it. That's why I came. I came because I wanted to try and bring success to the club. So that's been here from day one. But what has been nice is for lots of the guys, and like I say, winning leagues are important, but when you can win a cup competition, the emotion is different. That day, that emotion, like we all sensed it if you were there, the feeling that was there on the day, and obviously probably has continued, and the feel-good factor that gives you, it's absolutely the same for the players. So they'll have that now, and like I've said to them, you become winners now. And once you stimulate that notion inside you, it takes you on now to another level, or it should do. And that's that's my job, to lead and drive the team. You know, we've won our first trophy together. We have something tangible to show for our work. Now we want to keep pushing.
You talk about wanting to push on. Next one's a pretty short and simple question, and it's probably needs a longer answer. But how do you actually build on this season? Whatever happens on Sunday, whether it is fourth place, even higher, or fifth, how do you go about building upon this?
Well, no, I think it's about sustaining. I think I'd said that if we could become a sustainable club in European football, that shows that we're succeeding as a football club. If you think we have I think commercially we're 10th, around about that in the league. We have a budget for 8th. So can we improve in all aspects of the club? Can we improve commercially? You know, which then will help in terms of finance, in terms of for players. Naturally, it's always going to be really, really difficult for us to compete with some of the clubs that have 3 and 4 times our budgets, but doesn't stop us fighting, doesn't stop us performing on the field, and showing, like I've always said, can we disrupt that hierarchy? We've been able to do that now. We'll finish lowest 5th this season, so it's European football for us, and then it's about sustaining that and continually being there to fight for the trophies, and hopefully you can see in our time together that that's what we've done.
Final one from me then, Brendan. There's already been plenty of noise about your potential transfer business this summer. I'm not going to ask you about specific targets or anything like that, but just looking more generally at the summer ahead of next season, what do you think will be the biggest challenges for the club in this summer transfer market?
I think it's always about players coming in to fit our model, and we're hoping that we can bring players in to replace some of the experience that we've lost, but also some young, hungry players that are coachable and really want to succeed and learn. So that's always the challenge, but it's something that in my time here, the club have been absolutely brilliant in supporting that, and then we can look forward to a really exciting season next season with supporters back and hopefully continual progress on and off the pitch.
Okay, Ian Stringer, please.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Ian.
Wes Morgan's retirement today. I just wonder, you've talked about his contribution off the pitch. I wonder whether you can tell us kind of what that looks like in terms of being able to manage players going through difficulty, adversity. Whilst he's not been in your squads, I know he's still been a player. How have you lent on him? How have you used him and sought his counsel?
I think with Wes's experience, people look at him in the changing room and see the experience that he has, that he's been through all the emotions in the game. And yeah, he's just one of those guys that looks after his teammates. So for me, he's always come in with a smile on his face. He's come in to work, even though he hasn't always been playing, but he's always made himself ready. And if you look at him at the weekend, going into the FA Cup final, I had a decision to make in the morning. We felt maybe how the game would maybe go, that in the last 10 minutes if the ball was coming into the box, there's not too many better than Wes Morgan to get your head on the end of it. And when I asked him, even though he'd only trained, for 3 or 4 of the days leading into the game, and he'd been out for numbers of months, I just said to him, listen, big guy, will you be ready for us? And he says, I'll be ready. So thankfully he came on, and
some big headers as well.
Yeah, very important. And that's, you know what you're going to get from him. We've had it a few times. I remember early on in my career here at Leicester and away at Sheffield United, and I stood up strong in the box, balls coming in, and he's just done it throughout his career. I remember him at Nottingham Forest for many years, getting his head on it. But certainly my time, scoring away at Burnley, the winner, and games like that, I'll never forget. And he's a guy that I knew when the team needed to dig deep and show that mentality, he would be out at front leading it.
The club have mentioned, and you've mentioned that he still has a role at the club. Are you able to elaborate on that at all, Brendan? How he's going to be used, what sort of capacity?
Yeah, well, I think it's just for us to sit down in the summer and see where he's at. He's obviously got other ideas of what he wants to do and moving forward. But I think for both of us here at the club, it's just the case of let him go away, have a break. He'd be keen to continue to work. And I'm pretty sure there's a role here for him at the club, and somebody who's a wonderful ambassador for the club. But it's also to help and support his ambitions as well going forward, whether it was coaching, whether it's director of football, whether it's head of recruitment, whatever. He will have his own ambitions when he goes away and thinks about it. So we want to help facilitate that and support him in that. And but we'll look more closely at that in the summer.
First time you've had a home crowd in a long, long time, Brendan. The game against Villa, wasn't it? I think in the March of last year. Is this a perfect game for them to be at or not? Because there's anxiety in the city. You're quite right. On one hand, 1 hour, everyone's still buzzing about the FA Cup win and talking about it and the euphoria, But on the other hand, there's trepidation and there's anxiety about Sunday. And again, that. Is this a good game for you to have, whatever it is, 8,000-9,000, or is it not? Because there's going to be some anxious folks in there.
I'm sure there will be, but it's okay. It's what football's about. The tension, the nerves, the passion, and listen, we would want them there. They've been they're a huge difference for us, and we've missed the supporters here. So we'll look forward to having them back in. That roar, that noise could make all the difference for us and push us over the line. We've seen it at Wembley with the support we had on that day. It was only 6,000, but it felt like there was 4 or 5 times that there. So and that seen us through. So they will help us at the weekend for sure, and hopefully we can do them proud and finish off with 3 points.
You mentioned that you're going to be across all the other results. How does that look, Brendan? Has Mike Stow got an earpiece? Has he got BBC Sport app open and looking at the moving table? I'm back in Stowley to be a mathematician.
Yeah. Well, thankfully there's not. The numbers aren't too big. We'll get the message through one way or the other. And it's also important for the game itself. There might be a moment in the game where we need a goal or two. So it's important that we're aware of the temperature of where the situation is at. So yeah, we'll get it one way or the other.
finally from me, Brendan, there's a lot of talk about Harry Kane, his future at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm not going to ask for your view on that because he's not your player, and I know you wouldn't want to talk about that. But how might that affect the game? How does that affect your build-up? How does that affect your team selection? Because we're all assuming he's going to play. But if indeed his future's elsewhere, I guess, I don't know, are you building for the fact that there's a possibility he may not play?
No, not at all. I think, listen, there's always speculation and gossip in this game. Ian, for us, we'll prepare to play against a team that are a top team. They get outstanding players, and none more so than Harry. He's a world-class striker. He's shown over the last 6 or 7 years at Tottenham how important he is to them, and also what he is for his country. So we'll plan for him. The other talented players they have at the top end of the field, like Son and Gareth and these guys, they're real big talents. So we have to be ready for that.
Okay, we'll finish with one question from Dorset again before we go into the real section.
Sorry, Brendan, to jump in again. Wolves have just announced that Nuno Espirito Santo is leaving the club at the end of Sunday, after Sunday's game, mutual consent. That's literally all we know at the moment, but it's big news and it's a bit of a shock. I wonder what you make of it.
Yeah, I'd be shocked now that you've mentioned it, Rob. He's done a fantastic job at Wolves. You think from when he's come in, got them promoted. He played a wonderful brand of football to come out of the Championship, continued with that. Been difficult for them this year, but naturally, the game, obviously you need your best players, and they've had Jimenez out and Jota left for Liverpool, so it takes a huge part of the team away. But also I think in the modern game, I think he'll leave there as a legend of the club. He's done a brilliant job there. They're a club that clearly want to be up challenging in the top 6. They both will part, and sometimes it's that's needed after a period of years at a club. But he's done a great job, and sad to see him move.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll end the broadcast section there, and we'll say goodbye to our